Hello and welcome to this video. We have heard a lot of ideas about institutions, what they are, what role they play in society. I know hearing this topic sounds familiar to you because some of my classmates have already explained it somehow. But now, I'm just going to explain about a specific social institution. That is education. Social institutions are an important element in the structure of human societies. They provide a structure for behavior in a particular part of social life. The five major social institutions in large societies are family, education, religion, politics, and economics. While each institution does deal with a different aspect of life, they are interrelated and intersect often in the course of daily life. For instance, schools rely from the government. This is an intersection between politics and education. But let's just focus on the education as a social institution. Education plays a large part in the socialization of children into society. It encompasses behavior, attitudes, and values learned from the home, from the school, and from the community at large. It is the formal institution that directs many of the learning experiences within a particular society. It is established by the society for the basic enculturation of the young. In other words, education is the social institution which society members are equipped with important knowledge, including basic facts, jobs, skills, and cultural values. It provides a study of the regular patterns of relationship between society and the educational process, and the explanation for such relationships which contributes to the analysis of problems confronting the educational system. As this definition makes clear, education is an important part of socialization. Why so? The consciously controlled process whereby changes in behavior are produced in the person and through the person within the group. The ultimate goal of education is the effective participation of individual in the total process of social interaction, whether in terms of social, economic, health, or any desirable human value. Education may be formal or informal. Formal education sets definite objectives and goals, which are realized through systematic formal instructions and methods. It is often referred to as schooling, and as this term implies, it occurs in schools under teachers, principals, and other specially trained professionals. While informal education consists of learning through interaction with others in the group. Learning may be acquired through suggestion, observation, examples, imitation, and inculcation from any of the primary and secondary group or people one is engaged in. It may occur almost anywhere, but for young children, it has traditionally occurred primarily in the home with their parents as their instructors. Daycare has become an increasingly popular venue in industrial societies for young children's instruction. And education from the early years of life is thus more formal than it used to be. Now, let's talk about the functions of education. There are two perspectives that gave roles under the social institution: the functionalist perspectives and the conflict perspectives. Let me first discuss the functionalist perspectives. In functionalist perspectives, they say that the function of education are for socialization. The most familiar function of education is to transmit knowledge and technical skills, but students also learn the values in terms of their culture. Cultural transmission makes the student aware of their cultural heritage, as well as the values, attitudes, and norms of the society through imitation and inculcation for the continued survival of the society and the maintenance of social order. Social control. Schools are expected to persuade their students that it is necessary to behave according to society's values and norms. Selection and allocation. The main burden for selecting and allocating people to other particular occupational positions rests with the schools. Assimilation and subcultural maintenance. A major purpose of education has been to assist in the process of assimilation. It's the absorption of newcomers into society. Innovation and change. Education is often conservative force, but some aspects of education, it promotes social change, especially by producing and spreading new knowledge, values, and beliefs. Our scientists cannot make important scientific discoveries, and our artists and thinkers cannot come up with great works of art, poetry, and prose unless they have first been educated in the many subjects they need to know for their chosen path. While in conflict perspective, they say that the function of education are for tracking. a system that divides students into different groups of classes on the basis of academic ability, which usually starts as soon as a child enters school. Depending on how they are identified, children are taught at the level that is thought to suit them best. In this way, they are prepared in the most appropriate way possible for their later station in life. Credentialism. The requirement of advanced degrees for certain jobs is seen by functionalists as a way of making sure that the best people are hired to fill important positions. Schools serve as a source of childcare for the rising number of one-parent and two-career families. Among teens, schooling consumes much time and considerable energy, inhibiting deviant behavior. Schooling also occupies thousands of young people in their 20s for whom few jobs may be available. High schools, colleges, and universities bring together people of marriageable age, many of whom meet their future spouses in the classroom. School networks provide not only friendship, but valuable career opportunities and resources later on in life. Education also involves several latent functions that are byproducts of going to school and receiving an education rather than a direct effect of the education itself. One of these is child care. Once a child starts kindergarten and then first grade, for several hours a day, the child is taken care of for free. The establishment of peer relationships is another latent function of schooling. Most of us met many of our friends while we were in school at whatever grade level, and some of those friendships endure the rest of our lives. A final latent function of education is that it keeps millions of high school students out of the full-time labor force. This fact keeps the unemployment rate lower than it would be if they were in the labor force. In all, let's bear this in our minds that education as a social institution provides training for the members of society. So, this is where my video ends. Thanks for watching.